What is Begin Stage 3 all about? This website and the videos that follow are all about my desire to try to tackle some of the root causes of climate change. I figured in order to do that, what we really need to do is start on some sort of common ground that people can agree on. There's so much conflict and argument about who caused what, how we got in the position we're in. And it stopped. Before we ever get along to what are we going to actually do about it, we end up just kind of stopping. So what I decided to do was try to figure out from the very beginning how we can break it down into its basic components so that we might be able to do something about it. So to start from common ground, what I'd like to do is break it into three main sections, or at least what climate change is and how we got here. So the first basic stage is historic. It is what changed in human society and mankind's interactions with the world that may have led to the current problems we're currently seeing. Second is what we did after it. At some point, years ago now, but at some point, people looked around and started going, I don't know what's happening, but something is definitely happening. That's stage 2. From there, essentially what you got was early on the whole conversation about, does it exist? It started as temperature rise, and it went into a wide variety of different definitions. And there was a lot of argument early on. And I think a lot of the reason there was a lot of argument was because the people who got a good grasp on what was being talked about quickly recognized, they're pretty much talking about the results of what I've done, or my company's done, or the government I work for has done. And in order to avoid negative impacts from being held liable for individuals' actions or companies' actions, they denied it. They just, deny it. That's like too standard in too many places. If I'm at fault, just deny it until they can prove differently. Well, that was the beginning of stage 2. Stage 2 evolved into more and more people joining on and going, maybe they're right. Scientists got involved, started doing research and trying to identify if is something changing, what's changing, and later on it's like trying to make predictions. So currently stage 2 is literally kind of where we're stuck at, or the majority of us are stuck at. A lot of organizations have been formed, a lot of people have gotten together and very effectively been able to, get the brochures handed out, get the protest boards written up, have protests, get people together and march. And, that's all great in order to spread the word, to make people aware of something catastrophic that could, in the future, or even today, violently affect all of us and change the world that we live in a negative manner. That's stage 2. And for all practical purposes, stage 2 has been very successful. Originally, not only were people not talking about it, but you couldn't really get a lot of information about it. Now, the internet's full of information. You want to know about climate change? Just do a web search. It's there. any aspects of climate change, how it's impacting our world, how it's impacting local areas, individuals, groups of people, and many projections that didn't exist years ago. I mean, there are climate models now based on the information that scientists and researchers have been finding in the past. We have huge international organizations and political organizations who get together, and here's a common thing. They get together and pretty much at this point everybody agrees somebody has to do something about this. And this is where I get kind of frustrated and annoyed. Got the message. I hear you. I agree with you. Even if specifically what is causing the problem may still be up to debate, or maybe to what level the problem is being caused is up for debate. But all in all, we can't hardly disagree that, yep, somebody should be doing something about this. Now, who you talk to will pretty much change what you hear about who exactly should be doing something. A lot of people get together protests and march to try to get their politicians to do something about it. Passing legislation requiring that, maybe some businesses or individuals do or don't do something in the future, that would be good. But politically, there's a lot of problem with that, and we'll go into that in a different video. But so far, I'm not sure that asking people who are politicians to come up with solutions has been very effective. Continuing to ask them repeatedly in different formats, well, all we're doing is continuing to spread the word. Hey, somebody's got to do something about this. So stage 3 is really where we need to go next, in my opinion. And there's been limited success in movements forward. Most of the money going into climate change is still going into stage 2. Get the word out, tell people to send money so that we can get more pamphlets printed and reports made and demonstrate some. That'll be good. That's stage 2. Stage 3 is going to take something great. It literally is going to have to change from somebody needs to do something about this to, does anybody know who can do something about this? And then to start supporting those people. If there are people with solutions in the world for the causes of climate change, it appears that they haven't been very involved in making the actual solutions that are necessary. And don't get me wrong, there's solar panels and the increase of wind energy. And that's not bad. Getting away from a carbon-based fuel source can definitely make an improvement. But we need to do something about how we are wasting the resources we already have on a very significant level. Now, in order to do that, what that means is we have to start examining exactly how we are spending our energy, where it's doing the most damage. Now, I know this sounds familiar, right? Somebody needs to start doing that. What I'm talking about here is literally reaching out to individuals who currently do have potential solutions to get them to help. For example, there's a lot that's changed in our economy and the way that we do our jobs as far as intellectual property goes. There's a lot of very brilliant people out there who are not necessarily degree holders or high up in company management or high up in politics, who work with the very infrastructure that needs to be altered in order to reduce the impacts that are leading to climate change, reduce the causes of contributors to climate change. So where are those people? And why is it we don't hear from them? Part of the reason may be nobody's asking them. Anyway, so that's stage 3, and I'll go into greater detail about that later on. But those are the 3 basic stages. First is historic, how we got here. Second is, once we realized there was a problem, standing up and saying, there's a problem, who's going to do something about this? Stage 3 absolutely is, there's a problem, we know somebody's got to do something about it. Who is out there who can do something about it, and what can we do to help them proceed? So this is your host, Belkin Vanderspuds. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you again soon.